Think Canada is firmly in America's corner. Think again. Canada just signed a billion-dollar shipbuilding deal with China, one that's paid in Chinese currency, not the US dollar. This unexpected alliance could be a wake-up call for Washington. What does this mean for the future of global alliances, and is America's influence beginning to slip? To kick things off, let's tackle the question at the heart of this development. Why would Canada, a close ally of the US, turn to China for a major infrastructure project? For years, Canada has relied heavily on the US for trade, defense, and political partnerships. But this relationship has had its share of ups and downs, particularly over trade. Remember the tariffs on Canadian aluminum and steel in 2018? Canada has faced a series of trade disputes with the US, which has driven it to look for new partners who can offer more stability. According to Mary Ong, Canada's trade minister, Canada must diversify its partnerships to ensure economic resilience. This sentiment reflects a growing trend. Canada, like many other nations, is exploring ways to reduce dependence on any single partner, especially when that partner sometimes prioritizes its own interests. Partnering with China is Canada's way of sending a clear message. Ottawa is ready to pursue its own path if it means protecting its economy and securing advantageous deals. Now, let's dive deeper into the deal itself. This isn't just about building ships. It's a billion-dollar investment that could change how Canada approaches international partnerships. This multi-billion-dollar agreement reflects Canada's acknowledgement of China's growing dominance in the shipbuilding industry. China has become the world's largest shipbuilder, outpacing South Korea and Japan. The Globe and Mail reports that China's shipyards, especially those in Shanghai and Guangzhou, have adopted advanced manufacturing techniques, making them attractive even to Western nations. But this decision carries symbolic weight. By choosing China, Canada is signaling that it's prepared to put its interests above traditional alliances. As Professor Paul Evans from the University of British Columbia puts it, Canada's willingness to engage China as a partner shows a shift in its priorities, one that could alter the dynamics of the U.S. Canada relationship. This isn't a small decision, and the message is loud and clear. Canada is willing to make bold moves, even if it means stepping away from its closest allies' expectations. Please like and subscribe. Your support helps us grow. Thank you. Perhaps the most controversial aspect of this deal is the currency. Canada opted to settle this transaction in RMB rather than US dollars. Why would Canada make such a bold move? Settling in RMB allows Canada to sidestep the US dollar's volatility, but there's more at play here. Canada's decision could be interpreted as a subtle endorsement of China's currency on the global stage, a move that could signal a shift toward de-dollarization. Economist Eswar Prasad, author of The Dollar Trap, argues that each time a major economy like Canada chooses an alternative currency, it chips away at the dollar's dominance. This move isn't just about the bottom line, it's about giving China's currency a seat at the global table, hinting that Canada may be comfortable exploring financial alternatives to the US dollar. Canada's decision fits into a larger global trend of de-dollarization. Nations like Russia, India, and Brazil have already begun exploring alternatives to the US dollar to limit their exposure to US economic policy. The Financial Times recently reported that global RMB settlements are on the rise, fueled by China's Belt and Road Initiative and its strategic push to internationalize the RMB. For the US, this trend is concerning. If Canada, a traditionally close ally, is willing to adopt RMB for major deals, it could encourage other countries to follow suit. Financial strategist Simon Derrick warns that if more economies embrace currencies like the RMB, the US could face diminished influence over international markets. Canada's choice could be a tipping point, encouraging other countries to question their reliance on the dollar. China wasn't always a leader in shipbuilding. In fact, South Korea and Japan used to dominate this industry. So, what changed? Starting in the 1990s, China identified shipbuilding as a strategic industry. The government poured billions into modernizing shipyards, building the world's largest shipbuilding hubs in cities like Shanghai and Qingdao. According to Lloyd's List, China officially overtook South Korea as the top shipbuilder in 2010. China's rise in shipbuilding wasn't accidental. It was part of the Made in China 2025 initiative, which aims to position China as a leader in advanced industries. For Canada, partnering with the world's top shipbuilder was a pragmatic decision, leveraging China's expertise in high-quality, efficient ship production. China's edge in shipbuilding isn't just about scale, it's also about innovation. In recent years, China has emerged as a leader in green ship technology, a crucial advantage for environmentally conscious partners like Canada. Chinese shipyards have pioneered fuel-efficient engines, low-emission vessels, and designs that meet stringent environmental standards. The Wall Street Journal reports that China's investment in green ship technology has made it a preferred partner for nations aiming to meet global emission standards. For Canada, choosing a partner that can deliver on environmental goals makes China a compelling option. By working with China, Canada aligns with its own sustainability objectives while benefiting from advanced technology. This deal isn't just about Canada's relationship with China, it's a reflection of a larger trend. Western allies are increasingly willing to question the U.S.'s role as the dominant global power. Political analyst Elizabeth Economy highlights that the balance of power is shifting, and allies are exploring options that reduce their dependence on the U.S. Canada's decision to partner with China. Might signal the beginning of a broader trend among U.S. allies looking for independence. This move could be the start of a realignment, one that challenges the assumptions of U.S. leadership in the West. Trade disputes between Canada and the U.S. have become a recurring issue, and these tensions might be nudging Canada toward other partners. From softwood lumber tariffs to restrictions on dairy exports, Canada has faced its share of trade frictions with the U.S. In a recent report by the Toronto Star, trade expert Dan Churiak stated, Canada's ongoing trade conflicts with the U.S. have highlighted the need for alternative markets. China provides Canada with a massive market and, crucially, stability. For Canada, the choice to partner with China might not only be about the benefits, but also about creating a buffer against U.S. policy unpredictability. Canada and China have had their own share of trade issues, particularly over agriculture. In 2019, China imposed anti-dumping measures on Canadian canola, a major export crop. This move cost Canadian farmers significantly and strained the relationship between the two countries. Agriculture analyst Kevin Hirsch points out that improving economic relations with China could be beneficial for Canadian farmers, particularly in sectors that rely on exports. Partnering with China in shipbuilding might help ease tensions, creating a more cooperative environment that could eventually benefit Canadian agriculture. This ship deal is more than a transaction. It's part of a strategy to stabilize Canada's economic interests. Canada has been building RMB reserves through previous energy trades with China, particularly in liquefied natural gas. Could this have influenced Canada's choice to settle its ship deal in RMB? Financial analyst Andrew Sheng suggests that having RMB reserves makes it easier for Canada to settle trades with China directly in their currency. This choice is practical and efficient, reducing the costs associated with currency conversion and aligning with Canada's broader pivot toward diversification. In this way, Canada's existing RMB reserves could be both a motivator and a facilitator for using the RMB in more significant transactions. One surprising aspect of this story is Washington's lack of response. The U.S. has a long history of reacting strongly when allies appear to challenge the dollar's dominance. So why the silence here? Geopolitical strategist Ian Bremmer of Eurasia Group explains that the U.S. might be staying quiet to avoid drawing attention to Canada's choice. A public reaction could potentially backfire, encouraging other allies to consider non-dollar transactions. This silence could signal that the U.S. is beginning to feel its influence wane, choosing a more cautious approach to avoid further weakening its position. At the end of the day, Canada's choice to partner with China and settle in RMB is about more than just one country. It's a move that reflects a shifting global landscape, one where the traditional rules may no longer apply. If more nations start to diversify their alliances and adopt alternative currencies, we could see the emergence of a multipolar world where no single power or currency holds uncontested dominance. Canada's billion-dollar ship deal with China settled in RMB might be a turning point, a decision that signals the beginning of a new global era in trade alliances. The question now isn't just about Canada and China, it's about a world where countries have choices beyond the US dollar and US influence. But this story is far from over. Please like and subscribe. Check out another video that is now on your screen.